Hello bro and welcome back to the Bro Thing. Today I want to discuss how to become the classiest version of yourself. Now, have you ever been in a position where you enter a very upscale restaurant on a date and you really don't know how to act? Maybe there's so much cutlery, you don't know what cutlery to use. You've been in a situation where you go to an upscale mall, maybe a fashion brand, and you really don't know how to talk to the salesperson because you think, oh my god, this place is really upscale, I'm out of place, and this is not for me. Now, if you've been in this kind of a situation, then say never again, because after this video, you're never gonna be socially awkward, you're never gonna feel overwhelmed by entering a really upscale or a high-end place. Without wasting time, let's get right to it, because I'll be giving you action steps that you can take today to become the classiest version of yourself. And this is also going to help you in your dating life because girls are gonna perceive you as really high value. So stick along. Now, the first step to becoming the most classiest version of yourself is working on your wardrobe, because you need to understand another person, what is his first impression of you? How does he build that first impression? Now, the moment you walk in the door, whether it's a bar, a club, any sort of social scenario, the first thing that a person can see about you is your fashion sense, is what kind of clothing are you wearing. So you need to invest in the clothing, you need to upgrade your wardrobe so that you can become more classy. And what I want you to do is I want you to invest in timeless pieces, invest in quality over quantity. A lot of people think when it comes down to fashion, hey, why don't I just go to a luxury store and buy some Gucci, buy some LV, buy some really expensive stuff and it's gonna make me look good. But that is not how it works. Alright, you can buy a lot of random clothing articles and it's not gonna look good at all. So what you need to do before you even go out to buy clothing articles, buy pieces of clothing, what you need to do is you need to figure out the style. You need to figure out the kind of style you want. You need to figure out the outfit you want with the shirt, with the pants. How you can pair up multiple outfits to actually create even more styles, and that's what you need to do. But it's not about having the most expensive shirt, but it's about having a shirt which is going to be evergreen. For example, this black shirt, alright, this black shirt which has an embroidered look, this is going to go evergreen. This is not going to go out of fashion in a year or in 2 years. So that's the kind of fashion I focus on because it's evergreen, it's timeless pieces. For example, a black collar t-shirt. Alright, all of that is never going to go out of fashion, and I focus on that, and I want you to focus on that as well. And I want you to ensure when you're buying those clothes, I want you to ensure the fitting. Now, I don't want you to buy clothes which are oversized until and unless you're a little obese, because if you're a little on the obese side, then what you can do is you can wear solid colors, a little oversized shirts, oversized t-shirts. That's going to help you look a little slimmer. And if you're a guy who's who's muscular, if you're a guy who's hitting the gym, and if you're not, I would strongly suggest hit the gym as well. So if you're a guy who's hitting the gym, who's slim, I would suggest wearing slim fit shirts, slim fit t-shirts. And if you're a guy who's a little out of shape, I would strongly suggest hitting the gym, going for a cardio workout session, because that's going to make you more classy. That's going to make you feel better when you're actually wearing those clothes and you're actually extremely fit. It's going to improve your self-esteem as well. Now, the biggest problem with Indian men and wardrobe is we don't have a style. We don't develop a style over the period of time, and that's because we depend on our parents too much when we're younger to do all our shopping. And we've all been there. We were just sitting at home. Yeah, why don't you just get me a shirt? Why don't you just get me a t-shirt? Anything would work. And because of that, we don't end up developing a style. So I would want you to go to Instagram, search some male models, fashion models, or people you actually look up to, and think. Really sit down and think, is this the kind of style that will suit me? And guys, to select the style, it can be based on multiple things, whether what's your age, alright, what do you do, what's your profession, right, what kind of a person are you, what's your personality like, and based on that, you can come down to a style. Now, if you think about my style, it's more of a professional look. I carry a professional look because, I'm a coach, so I have to go give conferences, and for that, I want to be authoritative when I'm giving those conferences, and that's why I've chosen a professional style where I'm wearing a suit usually, I'm wearing a shirt, and I'm dressed very sharp and neat. That is the kind of style that I like to follow. Now, if you're a guy who's 18, this is not the kind of style you would want to follow. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you want to be a little bit more on the hip side. So that's also okay, but you need to figure out your style. You need to sit down with yourself, look at some influencers, look at some people you actually look up to, and break down your style. Now, once you've broken down your style, you have a few outfits, go out to shop and also keep some accessories in mind. Now, I don't generally wear a lot of accessories apart from a watch, but if you're a guy who's into accessories, go out and think about some accessories as well. And it can be as simple as a belt, it can be the kind of shoes that you're wearing, maybe a bracelet if you want, whatever you want. But make sure that whatever you're buying complements your wardrobe. It should not be something really weird like peacocking. Maybe you're wearing an earring, maybe something you're covering your nails black or some shit. Please don't do that. Be normal. Alright, try to get outfits, try to get accessories which complement your outfit. Now, the second step, which is going to help you in terms of your first impression, and not only that, it's going to make you more classier, is maintaining a good hygiene routine. And I know A lot of people might be like, oh, what a hygiene routine? Are we going to talk about that over here? Now, it's very important that you maintain an extremely good hygiene routine, because if you want to become more classy, if you want to appear more classy, you have to take care of yourself. You have to treat yourself with respect. Only then other people will treat you with respect. That brings me to a question. A lot of people ask me, hey man, what's your skincare routine? Now, I have a very thorough skincare routine, and I want to, it's a topic of a video in itself. But what I want you to focus on is having a good skincare routine, at least applying some moisturizer after the shower, applying some sunscreen if you're going out in the sun so that your skin doesn't get damaged. Now, I'll share my skincare routine, I'll add a video, and I'll add a link over here. But for now, I want you to focus on a basic skincare routine, alright? Try to implement the basics first before going too advanced in anything. So try to just get a moisturizer, try to just get a sunscreen, and try to work with that for now. Now, the second thing is always have your hair properly groomed. And I've seen this with a lot of clients. We were doing online dating profile shoots earlier. A lot of clients would just come to me, they would go to the hairstylist, and the hairstylist would call me and he would be like, "Ye to जानवर जैसा लग रहा है." And that was so embarrassing because we don't want our company reputation to look like that, but we would send these guys to hairstylists all over India. Alright? And one thing I realized, common sense is not so common. So make sure that you're well groomed, and what you think is well groomed might not be well groomed right now. What I mean by that is, if you think, oh, I have long fucking hair, I have a mullet, and this looks fucking well groomed, you need to ask a woman's opinion. You need to ask for a female's opinion. That's why it's important to have female friends in your life, or just ask a random person who's walking, because you need to understand a female's mindset as well. Now, generally, I like to keep myself clean shaven, and this is because of the industry I chose. Before becoming a dating coach, it was the hospitality industry. And apart from that, I was in Singapore, where I realized a lot of these Southeast Asian girls actually like guys who are clean shaven. Guys who are well neat, who are pretty neat. If they don't like guys who have like shabby hairstyles. And that's what I realized staying in Singapore. So that's what I did. And now I'm very comfortable with it, so I carry this look. But for you, it might be a little different. So I would suggest going to a stylist, going to a very high-end stylist for once, and just trying to tell him, hey man, what kind of hairstyle would suit me according to my facial structure? Could you give me that haircut? Now, once he gives you that haircut, take a picture of that haircut so that your stylist can actually copy that haircut when you actually going to your local stylist for the next 2 months, and then you go to another expensive stylist once more. Because after getting it cut by your local hairstylist a couple of times, that hairstyle is gonna get lost. So after a few months, you might just go to a expensive stylist, then repeat the process again if you are on a budget, I would say. Now, one more thing I noticed when I was giving boot camps to clients, and this is something that I noticed pretty recently, it was like the clients are eating food, alright, and they're eating food in the debrief, and they're going for the boot camp, and there's no oral hygiene. When they're talking to girls really nearby, right, they're talking to them and they're like, why girls running away? Because your mouth is stinking, alright? You're so close to the girl that, your smell is a part of your experience. It's the part of your first best impression or the worst impression. And if you're going out in the field, you have to, have really close proximity with girls. You're talking to them in the ear. I would suggest using a spearmint or using a chewing gum. Now, chewing gum I would not suggest to recommend to a lot of clients, because when they're eating chewing gum, they look like a camel, something like, talking to girls, eating a chewing gum, it doesn't even look nice. There's some mint strips that you can buy. Listerine mint strips, I used to buy them, and these were the best mouth refreshers that I had. So I would strongly suggest, if you want to try it, there's the cheaper version called Mountain Breeze, I think. So try buying that and try using that when you're out there gaming, because good oral hygiene is required. And before even going out, if you're going out to a club or a bar, why don't you just take a shower, brush your teeth, use Listerine, and then go out, alright? Put small efforts. If you cannot put small effort, maybe you're busy, then just go out like that. But if you can, if you have the time, then put your best effort forward. Now, one of the most important elements to add to your classiness is manners. Because good manners are actually the cornerstone of being classy. Now, once I was on a date, alright, I was with a girl who selected this really upscale restaurant, and we sat down on a table, and the waiter came with a bottle of regular water, and he offered the water like this. And the girl didn't know what to do, and I'm sure like a lot of people listening and watching in on this might not know what to do either. Basically, he was offering the bottle to check the temperature, alright? To check the temperature of the bottle, is it okay? I'll open this bottle. Now, that is what the waiters do in upscale restaurants. And in this case, the girl selected the place, so I knew exactly that she was a gold digger, because she's not been here. She's probably, it's not very regular for her, because once the waiter came with the bottle, she literally didn't know how to respond. And that's when I realized I was getting gold digged as well. So it's very important that when you're going out, have some manners, learn about these etiquettes. Because if you're taking a girl out to really upscale place or an upscale bar or a restaurant, and you don't know how to act in accordance to that, then what will happen is it'll kill attraction. The girl will see that, and the girl will see that, oh, this guy's socially uncalibrated, and it will kill attraction. So this was just an example. So what I want you to do is, I want you to do a little bit research on what kind of cutlery to use when you're actually sitting in a restaurant. And we're going to talk about manners as well. But I just want you to do a little bit of research on what kind of cutlery to use and what is the difference between red wine and white wine, basic differences, all right? Because if you want to take a girl out on a date, a really classy girl out on a date, and you're selecting a really classy environment, then you got to know a little bit about the things that you're going to order, about how to use the cutlery, about how to sit down properly, and about how to chew your food. And this is also a big one because I've seen people on dates, they're chewing their food like, they're just too focused on the food, they're just rushing in on the food, and they're just finishing the food, and they don't even care about the conversation. And then they're like, hey man, I don't even know what went wrong in my conversation. The thing is, you went out there not on a date but to just focus on the food. You were chewing the food like a camel or a cow, and it was just not very polite. And you don't notice this because this has probably become your subconscious habit, but the girl notices this, and the girl doesn't want any piece of this, so she leaves and she doesn't text you back. So this happens. Another thing that I want you to focus on is active listening. Now, I've seen this with a lot of men. As soon as they go out, they want to talk to the girl, they want to just share their experiences. They don't give the girl any time to invest, whether it's out in the field or whether it's out on a date. They don't give her any time to invest. They don't give her any things to talk about, and they're not actively listening. They're just listening enough to speak their next part. All right, and there's a difference between listening and hearing. All right, so you need to understand that difference. Once you're actually listening to the other person, you're listening in on their problems, and it's not about you want to give your opinion. It's more about you listening in on them, making them feel comfortable, and also making them feel that they've been heard. And how I do this is when I'm talking to a girl, if she's telling me something, I would just ask her, hey, is this what you were talking about? Am I correct? Or maybe if I'm talking to a client, if he's saying, hey man, I have a lot of approach anxiety. Alright, so you have a lot of approach anxiety, and because of that you're not able to approach. Am I correct? This shows the other person in a conversation that you actually understanding what they're saying. Another thing girls will have their eyes on is how are you talking to people who are below you. Alright, in a social scenario, are you grateful to them? Are you being a dick to them? And this is something that is very evident. Like, this is something which is very common that girls notice that when you're going out on a date, but again, common sense is not that common. So I want you to be extremely grateful to everyone, wherever you're going. Whether you're going to a bar or a cafe, if you're making an order, say thank you, say please. Alright, these two words are going to make you more classy. These two words are going to make the girl feel that, okay, this guy is socially calibrated. So try not to be a dick to people when you're going out with a girl, and try not to be a dick to people anyways in your life. So try to be more classy, try to be more humble, try to be more grateful towards other people. Now, another thing which my German friends told me was be punctual. And I have a lot of friends who are from Germany in Delhi. So with staying with them, I realized that I've become extremely punctual. I'll go to meet them 5 minutes even before we have decided to meet. And with the Germans, the timing is very specific. So if you have any German friends, you would know what I mean. Is basically they are very hell-bent on the timing, and they have this problem with Indians that Indians are never on time. And not only Germans, but I think Koreans and different cultures, they all have this problem with Indians. So I became really punctual, and this was the problem I was dealing with in my dating life as well. I met this really nice girl, and I'm calling her out, and she's coming half an hour late or 45 minutes late without even giving me an explanation. That got on my nerves. I set a clear boundary over there. But what I realized is being punctual is also a big factor of being more classy. Alright, that's showing the other person that you actually respect their time. You're not a guy who's, unaware or obnoxious, but you're a guy who actually respects the other person's time. So what I did was, because I saw this as a pattern, a lot of girls showing up late, a lot of girls coming really late. So what I did was, even before meeting them, I would like, hey, I have a small boundary which I want to talk about, so that there are no problems between us. I hope you can actually make it on time, or let me know if you're getting late, so I'll plan it accordingly. I'll plan leaving my house accordingly. I don't want to go there and wait for you for half an hour. That's not what I do. Now this also sends a clear signal to the girl that this guy is not any guy. He's a guy who has some boundaries. He's a guy who has some values and some value to offer, and that's why he treats himself like that. And if I treat him any less than how he wants to be treated, he's gonna cut me out. And a girl, if she knows that you're a guy who's ready to let her go at any point in time, the attraction really, really shoots up. So try doing that next time. Now, the last but the most important factor to become more classy is expand your knowledge. And I've been saying this from time to time. Expand your knowledge, get in stimulating conversations, know more high value people, high net worth people, so that you can get in situations rooms where you're not that comfortable, all right? You need to understand a well-rounded, knowledgeable individual is often seen as classy. So next time when you're going out, I would strongly suggest talking about different topics instead of just talking about one topic. And I realized this with my male group. We're always talking about getting girls. We were always talking about picking up girls. And that's when we decided, hey man, our personality is getting confined towards this particular topic. We're very comfortable talking about picking up girls, but if someone is talking about what's happening in the world today, we have no fucking idea. So me and my friends, we all decided to work on our personality by reading different things, by reading about different topics, all right? Maybe read a fiction book once in a while if you're a guy who's too much into self-help. Read a fiction book. Read the newspaper sometimes, all right? Watch the news sometimes so that you're well aware of what is happening in the world as well. Now, if you like this video, if you like this content, if this was helpful for you, I would strongly recommend that you share it with a friend who needs this as well. And also, I want you to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out any videos in future. So I hope by following all these action steps, you are on your way to becoming a more classy version of yourself. And not only that, I hope you're on your way to becoming a more refined version of yourself. Now, I want you to remember, becoming classy is a journey in itself. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some effort, it's going to take some dedication. So I want you to stick to that journey of self-improvement and see where it takes you. And if you want to work with me and my team, all you need to do is schedule a call and let's see if you're a right fit to work together. Let's see if we can help you with your personality, make you a person who everyone takes seriously, whether it's in a social situation, whether it's with your family, whether it's in your dating life. All you need to do is schedule a call. For the next video, I'm going to break down my client's approaches. I'm going to show him exactly how he can become more classier. And if you want to watch that video, if you want to watch the implementation of whatever you heard in this video, all you need to do is click over here.